Chapter 6. The orphan child Heidi first lives with her Aunt Date, but Aunt Date cannot look after Heidi. So she brings Heidi to her grandfather, a queer old man living in an alpine cottage far from the next village. There she goes to the pastures together with Peter, a shepherd boy looking after the goats. This finds a sudden end when Aunt Det comes in again and brings Heidi to Frankfurt, Germany, where she has to stay with Clara, the paralyzed daughter of a rich family, and learn something. Every summer, Clara visits Heidi there. They go to the pastures and Heidi shows Clara the beauty of her world. Peter gets terribly jealous, and in a moment when he feels unobserved, he pushes the empty wheelchair down to the valley so it gets smashed. Clara wants to see the flowers and is forced to walk, and her desire is so strong that she overcomes her handicap. All ends well. Given here is an extract from the story. Heidi ran some way up the slope towards him, and then pausing called again, her eyes ablaze with anger. "If you don't come at once, Peter, I will do something to you that you won't like. I mean what I say." Peter felt an inward throe at these words, and a great seized him. He had done something wicked which he wanted no one to know about, and so far he had thought himself safe. But now Heidi spoke exactly as if she knew everything, and whatever she did know, she would tell her grandfather, and there was no one he feared so much as him. Supposing he were to suspect what had happened about the chair, Peter's anguish of mind grew more acute. He stood up and went down. Heidi was awaiting him. "I'm coming, and you won't do what you said." Peter appeared now so submissive with fear that Heidi felt quite sorry for him and answered assuringly, No, of course not. Come along with me. There is nothing to be afraid of what I want you to do." As soon as they go to Clara, Heidi gave her orders. Peter was to take hold of her under the arms on one side and she on the other, and together they were to lift her up. This first movement was successfully carried through, but then came the difficulty. As Clara could not even stand, how were they to support her and get her along? "You must put one arm well around my neck so, and put the other through Peter's, and lean firmly upon it, then we shall be able to carry you." Peter, however, had never given his arm to anyone in his life. Clara put hers in his, but he kept his own hanging down straight beside him like a stick. "That's not the way, Peter," said Heidi in an authoritative voice. "You must put your arm out in the shape of a ring, and Clara must put hers through it and lean her weight upon you. And whatever you do, don't let your arm give way like that. I'm sure we shall be able to manage." Peter did as he was told, but still they did not get on very well. Clara was not such a lightweight, and the team did not match very well in size. It was up one side and down the other, so that the supports were rather wobbly. Clara tried to use her own feet a little, but each time drew them quickly back. "Put your foot down firmly once," suggested Heidi. "I'm sure it will hurt you less after that." "Do you think so?" said Clara hesitatingly. But she followed Heidi's advice and ventured one firm step on the ground and then another. She called out a little as she did it. Then she lifted her foot again and went on. "Oh, that was less painful already," she exclaimed joyfully. "Try again," said Heidi encouragingly. And Clara went on putting one foot out after another until all at once she called out, "I can do it, Heidi, look, I can make proper steps." And Heidi cried out with even greater delight, "Can you really make steps? can you really walk? Really walk by yourself? Oh, if only grandfather were here. And she continued gleefully to exclaim, You can walk now, Clara. You can walk. Clara still held on firmly to her supports, but with every step she felt safer on her feet as all three became aware, and Heidi was beside herself with joy. Now we shall be able to come up here together every day and go just where we like, and you will be able all your life to walk about as I do, and not have to be pushed in a chair, and you will get quite strong and well. It is the greatest happiness we could have had. And Clara heartily agreed, for she could think of no greater joy in the world than to be strong and able to go about like other people, and no longer to have to lie from one day to another, and no longer to have to lie from day to day in her invalid chair. Chapter 7.